Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with another Get Ready With Me. I recently asked on Instagram for some questions as well as here on YouTube, actually in the community tab. So I thought I would do a little bit of a Q&A today whilst getting ready, just because I haven't done one in a while and I feel like there's a lot of things that I want to talk about, and there was also a lot of questions that you guys had. So I wanted to do all of that today. I also know that some of you guys love Get Ready With Me, so I'm trying to do them more often on my channel. So that's also why I'm doing another one. Today I'm also using one of my Big Fat Eyeshadow Project palettes. This is the Hella palette from Odin's Eye. I only got this year from a lovely subscriber who sent it over, Carolyn. If you're watching, thank you so much again. But I want to play around with this one today. I actually haven't used it yet on my eyes. This is the week where I'm using this palette. It's also right before St. Patrick's Day, so I'm excited to play around with this one and make some green looks. I think today my plan is to do like a bit of a pink and green look together, but I'm definitely going to pull this palette out again for St. Patrick's Day and do a full-on green look as well, because this is a perfect palette for that. So that is my plan today. But before joining to the Get Ready With Me, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So I have primed my eyelids with use my eyeshadow primer, and I'm not going to go with the palette. What I'm thinking right now is I'm going to do like pink on the outer corner and then green on the inner corner. So what I'm going to start with is this hot pink right here, which is called Goddess. I'm going to put that on my outer corner. And while I do that, I'm going to start answering some questions. So I'm going to start with the questions that were over on Instagram. And I got actually quite a few questions over both platforms about potential wedding plans, how wedding planning going, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go through that first, I believe, because obviously I am recently engaged. So for us this year, but I'm just packing this one on, like I said, in that corner. So we have kind of decided, it was kind of decided quite early on. I think we both had the same mindset and idea when it comes to this. We are not in a rush to get married. I would love to get married like this year or next year. I mean, that's half true. I am excited to get married, but I'm also kind of feel a bit like overwhelmed when it comes to the potential like or the future wedding planning. So if you have any wedding planning tips as well, leave them below, because I haven't really gotten into it at all yet. What we have started doing is we started talking about like ideas, like what kind of vibes we want, like more kind of details, what our plans will be. So when we actually do start planning, we will already have a clear idea what we're looking for. That's kind of what we started with already. And then afterwards, I'm going to go in with the lighter pink in a palette called Hella, and I'm just going to use that to blend it out. So yes, we haven't really started actual planning yet, because our plan, well, the only plan we have is that we're not going to get married this year. It's going to be earliest in 2025, end of 2025. I would ideally want to get married in like summer, and I know my I was gonna say boyfriend, but fiance, Mike, I know that he would probably prefer to get married not when it's super hot, because he gets hot very easily and I get cold very easily. So I would want like a warm wedding so that I can not be cold, and he probably wants the opposite. But I think ultimately we're looking to like get married maybe in like August or September. That's like what I'm thinking right now, or we thinking. So end of next year would be like the earliest that we would be able to do it, or you know, that we're planning to, because we did not want to plan a wedding in like 8 to 9 months. So that's kind of like the earliest we would do. But realistically, we don't even know if we're going to get married next year, if it's going to be the year after, or what the plan is, because our main priority this year is to buy a house. And that's something that we really want to do. That's like the main priority. And obviously after that, we're going to have to resave money before we can get married. So that's why we're not really in a rush. I think after we buy a house and we have all of that settled, I think we're gonna, you know, potentially start looking at venues, and if we can still budget it, we might book it in for next year, and if not, the year after. I think that's our plan for now. But you know, it's all up in the air. We're not really in a rush to get married, so we don't really have too much on that front as of now. So that was the first question. The second question is, any plans for future pets? So if you don't know, we have a dog already called Alexi. She's sleeping on the sofa right in front of me. Let me see if I can show you her. So I'm inserting a video now. I'm looking at it right now, but there she is sleeping right in front of me while filming. She's such a good girl today. I used to go out on a walk before filming, that's why. But that is her. So we currently have a Cocker Spaniel, and we love her more than anything. And by the way, while I talk, I'm going to continue on with the next shade, which I think I'm considering like which kind of green shade to go in with. I was thinking maybe like this one here, but maybe this one will be more fun. I think I'm going to go in with the shade Underworld here for like the more inner part. So yeah, we love Lexi like so much, more than anything. She is like the perfect dog. We love her to bits, and we would 100% get a second dog now if we could. Mike talks about it all the time. He wants to get another dog all the time, but we do live in a 1-bedroom flat, so we honestly don't really have space for it right now. But yeah, we definitely want to get a second dog. I think again we'll see obviously when we buy a house and stuff. I think again he would probably opt up for getting a second dog like straight away after we get a house, but I feel like realistically it's probably going to be a little bit longer until we get a second dog, but it is definitely in the cards. Other pets, I think as well, like not now, but like in the future, we definitely want to get a cat as well. I really want like a ginger fluffy cat. I love ginger cats. I just love both the look of them and also the personality. I love how quirky they are. Like you all know, okay, well, if you're a cat person, you know that ginger cats are like the like kind of big personalities, the kooky ones, and I really want a ginger cat, but I'm probably more of a dog person, but I do love cats as well. I had cats growing up. I had a dog as well, but I had cats growing up. So I do want to get a cat as well. And Mike only had cats growing up, so he really wants to get a cat as well. But I think for now, like we have the dog and we love her. So we'll probably get another dog for her first, or like, not for her, but like in general, like get a second dog. And then like, you know, when we have a house where we live in more of a safe area, we might consider getting a cat as well, because I think we both agree that we want not an indoor cat. We want like one that can go outside and not be like, you know, potentially being run over because we live in a super busy world. Other pets, like Mike would like, he loves animals. He wants a duck, he wants donkeys, he wants like all kind of animals. Not like we want to live on a farm or anything, but you know, we could potentially, if we ever move to the countryside, I reckon we're gonna have a lot of animals. But for now, we have the one dog, and the next step would be to get a second dog. And by the way, if we get a second dog, we're probably going to get another Cocker Spaniel, because we do really love Lexi, and I feel like it's the perfect breed for us. So that's the plans for pets. Next question is, do you ever feel burnt out managing YouTube along with full-time job, and how do you cope with that? So yes, I do sometimes. Sometimes I just like it's not like I'm burnt out necessarily. It's more like, I can't be fucked to film. Sorry my language, but like I just feel like I can't be bothered to film. Sometimes I know like I have to get up early to film. As you know, like if I film on the weeks, I usually get up really early. A lot of my videos are filmed between like 6 and 7 a.m. So I get up super early to film, and sometimes yes, it is a bit tiring. Some days I just have like, oh my god, I'm so tired. Like yesterday was Friday, and I needed to film ideally, but I just could not be bothered. I was tired from work, and I just did not want to get up early again another day. So I decided to kind of just stay in bed and not get up my regular time, and just sleep in and get up and not do my makeup before work. It was really nice. I don't do that too often. Often I do kind of push through and do film. But yeah, I have those days where I just kind of feel like I don't have the energy to film. Not much like maybe burnt out, but yes, I do have those days where I kind of am a bit tired of constantly working, I guess, because I do kind of in my spare time, I have to plan around filming a lot, and you know, it's not like I can film throughout the day. I have to like take time, either get up early in the morning or like spend a lot of my weekends filming. Like today I'm filming on the weekend. I am filming now, and I'm going to film another video after this. I'm going to film another video tomorrow, maybe even 2 or 1 on Monday. Like that's what I mean. Like I need to spend a lot of time filming over the weekends, and like they are now work from home, which is only Monday and Fridays. So that kind of period is really busy. And also obviously you have to do editing, and sometimes like if I come home from work, I need to like rush to get a video up before 6, which is my upload time. So yeah, I do get a little bit like, not burnt out I would say, but like a little bit worn down from it sometimes. But honestly, I love it. I love YouTube. I would not change it for the world. And a lot of times I'm really excited to do so. I'm really excited to sit down and film. I'm really excited to like edit and like upload a video. So that kind of outweighs the burnt outness. I'm way more often excited about it rather than burnt out. But yeah, it does happen that I get like that. And how do I cope with that? Honestly, I'm kind of the person that if I am burnt out, like, yes, like yesterday, I did just decide to postpone, and I do do that sometimes. Sometimes I do kind of procrastinate it, but if I know that I need to get it done, I will just kind of like get into the mindset of like, just get it over with, just go through it, like sit down, get it done, and then afterwards you can relax. Like that's kind of my mindset. So that's how I cope with it, I guess. And if I'm really, really burnt out and I just do not have the time or energy to do so, I will just skip an upload. It has happened every now and then. Or I might move my filming schedule around so that I can kind of, film a more labor-intense video like later when I do have more energy, and move a lower labor-intense video for that day, if that makes sense. That's kind of how I cope with it. So next question is, did you or your boyfriend grow up religious? What is your favorite ice cream flavor and dessert? Love you. Two very different questions in there. So did you or your boyfriend grow up religious? Yes, kind of. So basically I grew up in Sweden. I'm not really doing my makeup, I'm realizing. Maybe I should continue doing that. Let me just decide what to do next for my shimmer before moving on. I was thinking about like putting a pink shimmer on the lid too, but I don't really have any deep pink shimmer that can go on the outer corner. So I think I'm just going to go in for like a green shimmer all over the lid. Maybe top it up with this shade here on like the center to give like a little bit of a blend. We'll see. But for shimmer on the lid, I think I'm going to go in with golden bridge on like the center, and then this shade here called fluorescence on my inner corner, or like the inner third of my lid. So that's what I'm going to do. But before I do that, I'm also going to prime my eyelids with my glitter glue. So what I was saying was, did we grow up religious? So when it comes to me, I grew up in Sweden, and in Sweden we are technically like Protestants, like Christian Protestants. That's like the religion, that's like the main religion in Sweden. And that's kind of what I grew up with as well. However, it's not that common for people to be like actively religious, if that makes sense. So on paper, I was baptized. I did like my confirmation at 15, I think so, 14, 15, around that age. I don't remember. So I did all of that stuff. So technically I am like religious, but we never went to church. We never really practiced like any specific, we didn't read any verses, anything like that. We didn't really read the Bible, nothing like that growing up. So like, I don't know, in practice I wouldn't really say I grew up religious, but on paper, yes. So that's kind of my religious background. When it comes to my boyfriend, he has a bit more of a complicated religious background. So he did grow up more religious than me. He grew up Catholic, so also Christian, but Catholic. His family is a bit more religious. Like, it's not like they're super religious, but yeah, they did go to church like over Christmas, like for that kind of stuff, like Christmas mass stuff, that kind of thing. They still do. And he grew up that way, but he ended up growing up. I hope he's okay with. He loves speaking about religion. So this is like, I told him that someone asked him this question. He's like, oh my god, that's like the perfect question. He loves speaking about religion and learning about it. He grew up and actually ended up having a lot of shame from religion. Like, not shame, but like he ended up feeling a lot of like guilt, not maybe having those like the same belief, but he felt like he was supposed to. So he actually ended up having a lot of like internal shame because of religion. And when he grew up and learned more and more about it, he is now actually an atheist. Not to say that he doesn't love religion. He loves religion, and he loves, like I said, learning about it, talking about it. He reads so many books. Like, again, in front of me right now, I have a bookshelf, and there's so many books in our bookshelf about religion, different religions, because he just loves learning about it. So yes, he did grow up religious. His family is still like religious, but he is now an atheist. However, he still learns about religion. So that's kind of our religious background. Obviously now, if we do end up having a family, I don't think religion is really going to be a big part of our household. I still really respect religion, and what I believe is like, I'm not an atheist, but I wouldn't say that I 100% believe in like the Christian kind of view with what I grew up with. I do think there's some higher power there, but maybe not exactly the same way that the Bible says it. That's kind of my belief. I know that religion can be a very sensitive topic, and I really respect everyone else, but that's kind of like my beliefs and standpoints. But I also know that religion can be an amazing thing for a lot of people, so I do really respect it. I think just because of how I was brought up, it wasn't like something that I really bonded with the same, and that's probably how affected how I see religion today. So that's like, again, our religious background. And then when it comes to favorite ice cream flavor, was that the question? Yeah, what's your favorite ice cream flavor or dessert? Favorite ice cream flavor is probably like, I love pistachio ice cream, like melon ice cream as well. I'm trying to think what else I usually go for. Yeah, like those kind of things. I slightly like fruity ice cream. I don't like strawberry ice cream though, but like fruitier ice creams I really like. I'm not massive fan of chocolate ice cream. Pear ice cream I really like too. Like, yeah, a few different ones there. Funnily enough, all three of those are green ice creams, like flavor, like color wise. At least how I grew up, melon flavored ice cream is more kind of green as well. But I really like those flavors. And when it comes to favorite dessert, I would probably say cheesecake. I really like cheesecake. Sticky toffee pudding, very English of me. I really adopted that a lot now living in England. What else? I do love like an apple crumble. That kind of stuff, like especially in autumn, winter, I love getting that. Yeah, those are probably some of my favorite desserts. So that's that question. And there we have the shimmers, by the way. I am really happy with it. I'm not going to put anything else on. I think it looks really nice on its own. So that's kind of my top lid done. I'm going to move over to my base. So I decided to pin my hair back while I do my foundation, and I'm going to go in with my foundation all over while I answer the next question, which is going to be, how do you find living in London during cost of living? Very interesting question. Let me get a mirror up while I answer this. How do I find living in London during cost of living? It's expensive. It's very expensive. It's definitely not harder. I mean, it is harder. I definitely feel like, in a way, everything's more expensive. Like, the main thing that I can tell that is really, really difficult is rent and cost of accommodation. That is like the main thing that is like the hardest with this whole cost of living fiasco going on, because it is just so expensive renting, and like rent goes up and the demand is still there. So landlords are taking out extortionate amounts of money for rent now, and like they're increasing the rent constantly. Like, it's impossible to find somewhere to live. And I'm just kind of dreading the whole thing about buying a house. Like, I feel like it's overwhelming as is, but then you also have like the mortgage rates and the like cost of houses, everything like that. I'm just overwhelmed, to say at least. So again, if you have any tips when it comes to that, like buying a house in the UK, please let me know, because it's new to me. Obviously, I didn't even grow up here, so it's very, very new to me. But that's like the main thing I would say is difficult with the cost of living here, because everything is just like rent-wise and like house-wise is just so expensive, like too expensive, honestly. But otherwise, like, I'm a pretty good budgeter in general, and I've always been really good at like making sure that I save money, making sure I don't spend too much more than I have. So in general, like, yes, I can do less now than I maybe would have been able to if I earned what I did now 5 years ago here. But overall, in a day-to-day like setting, I don't find it too difficult. It's mainly like the rental prices here are crazy, and again, the house market. So that's like the main thing I would say. But yeah, I think you need to be able to limit yourself and budget, and if you can't, it would probably be really difficult. But for me, it hasn't been like the biggest issue. I guess, though, that we are kind of more aware of our money all the time now compared to what we might have been a couple of years ago. So I think it's just mainly that you have to be more aware of where you spend your money and how much money you're spending. So yeah, that's probably my top tips when it comes to that. So next question is, how is it like living with your now fiance? How long were you together before you moved in? So living together is great. It's just like the everyday now for us. It is the, like, I couldn't imagine not living with him. Like today, actually, he is away. He has stayed at a friend's house last night because he went to see a friend from uni, which lives at the other side of London. So we decided to use like stay in the spare bedroom because it takes so long to get home. Like during the day, if you like now traveling home, it still takes him like over an hour, like an hour and a half, I think, to get home from here, because it's quite far away. And if he would try to like leave during the like night, he would even have to pay like so much for an Uber, or like spend probably 2.5 hours to getting home. So I said stay there and come home in the morning. So he's gonna come home. He's actually on his way home now, so he might come home any second, and so I'm gonna have to take a break from filming. But anyway, what I'm getting at with that is that it's nice to have those days or evenings like doing my own thing. But overall, it's amazing living together. I really like it. It's nice. It's like living with your best friend, isn't it? When you found someone that you love and you're living with them, it's great. We're pretty good when it comes to like splitting chores and stuff evenly. So yeah, honestly, it's great living together. I really enjoy it, and I feel like we get along really well. We don't really bicker about everyday things, or I mean, obviously a little bit. I think every couple does, but we're really good at like setting our chores and, you know, sharing the workload and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I really love living with him. And when it comes to how long we were together before we moved in together, we were together for just over a year before we moved in together. So we got together, well, we started dating in like February of 2019, and I moved in with him actually like 2 weeks before lockdown of COVID. So that was like, I think mid-March 2020. So yeah, just over a year later. And now we've been together for 5 years. We actually had a 5-year anniversary earlier this week on Monday. So been together for 5 years now. So we lived together as well for a long time. We lived together for basically 4 years now. So I think that also means that we have a bit of a routine in place. Next up we have, do you journal? And no, I don't journal at the moment. I used to bullet journal. I actually used to like journal as like a diary journal as well, but that was like a long time ago. But I do I used to bullet journal, and I really want to get back into it because I do really enjoy bullet journaling. So that is something that I do, but I don't really like diary journal that much anymore. Next up, we have one more wedding question. Is have you set a date for your wedding? And again, no, we have not set that yet. We're just talking about like the main plans for now. Then last question from Instagram, we have, do you have to force yourself to wear makeup every single day in order to make progress on panning? Yes and no. I never really like force myself to wear makeup. Sometimes I do makeup mainly like just to get progress on product panning. Like if I'm just staying at home, I like doing my makeup every day just because it's nice having a routine, but also to keep getting progress on product panning. So yeah, sometimes I do makeup, like if on the weekend, like if I haven't been filming, sometimes at like 2 p.m. I'm just like, yeah, let's just do my makeup. I'm bored. Let's get some progress on my progress pan items. So I do that, but I wouldn't say that I'd ever force myself to do my makeup. Like yesterday, for example, like I said, I got up early and I was just so tired, and I decided to lay in and not do my makeup yesterday. So yesterday was a no makeup day, like, and I could have, I guess, done makeup later in the day, but I just did not feel like wearing it. So no, I don't ever force myself really to do my makeup, but I do it a lot in order to make product pan progress. So yeah, I feel like kind of yes and no on that question. And that was also the last question on Instagram. So we're going to move over to questions from YouTube. So I was starting to do my blush and my camera cut out, so if you didn't see that, then that's it. But I did use my NARS blush for my product pan. But yeah, I put blush on. So next question is from YouTube, and it is, if you could buy any luxury beauty item, what would it be? Or Yeah, item. So if it's just one item that I could buy, I have a whole like wish list. So if you want to see like me do what's on my beauty like wish list, let me know and I'm happy to do that, like makeup wish list. If I could just buy one luxury makeup item, what would it be? That's hard because I don't really like stop myself from buying anything if it's like too expensive. I usually do like allow myself. I mean, I have like Pat McGrath, Natasha Denona, like indie eyeshadows, all of that kind of stuff, which can be quite expensive. But I guess like I would probably choose something like this discontinued. Oh, I know what it is. If this was still available, I would pick up the Viseart Pro, what's it called? The Pro palette, like the #1 version. Let me see what it's called. The Viseart Grande Pro 1. So the old school one with the old like shaved pans, I would pick that up in a heartbeat because they have the same size as my Cleon eyeshadows, and I feel like that would be able to make the most beautiful kind of palettes with that, and I could like switch eyeshadows out, make my perfect color stories. So that's probably what I would pick up if I could pick up any luxury item if it was still available. So that's the one I'm going to go with. Next up, we have biggest makeup purchase regrets. I try not to like regret buying anything or specific items. Like I don't really feel like I have any massive regrets from makeup that I bought. I'm trying to think, like honestly, probably be like a foundation maybe that didn't work for me or something like that. Because I honestly can't think of anything. If I can think of something while I'm editing, I'm going to put it here. But I really can't think of anything right now that I regret buying in my collection. That's like a big, big regret. So I'm going to have to skip over that question for now. But if I can think of something while editing again, I will put it on the screen. So next question is, if you could only keep 5 palettes and 5 singles eyeshadows, what would they be? That is a hard one. You know what I'm going to do with this one? Again, I'm going to postpone this question a little bit because I feel like that would be a great video idea. And I don't know on the top of my head what I would keep. I have like, honestly, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to save that for a video. So Nail Polish Hound, let me do a video on that, a separate video. Let's go up like maybe in, let me check. I can do that video for, I'm just going to keep my filming schedule for mid-April, because that's when I have my next empty slot in my schedule. I'll put that video up in mid-April so you can see it then. So sorry not answering that now, but honestly, I don't really know on top of my head what that would be. Next question is, why and how did you get started on YouTube? Who influenced you and on your love for makeup? Why and how did I get started on YouTube? So basically, okay, let me go back to do my eyeshadow while I'm talking, because I've taken a little break now. But I think I'm going to continue the pink on the outer corner there and move it like down there. So I'm taking that same dark pink and I'm just going to put it on my low lash line. So how did I get started on YouTube? So I have always like, I started watching YouTube a long time ago now. So it's hard to equal I'm doing that. That's quite vampy, but that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and take the lighter pink as well and just blend that out. I really can't speak while I'm doing this, can I? But yeah, I always been really fascinated by YouTube and all of that kind of stuff. I watched YouTube for a long time, and back in the day, I don't know if I even mentioned this one, child. I used to film videos just for myself, not to post anywhere, nothing like that. Sorry, my camera overheated, so I can't remember what I said, but I used to film videos just for myself. So I always loved YouTube, and it's something that I always really wanted to do. But I didn't get into it fully until after I finished university. And the reason for that is because, I don't know, I was a little bit too worried what people are going to think. But then, sorry, I'm just doing my low lash line, which is really hard while speaking. Okay, there we go. I'm using the shade Hellfire for the kind of middle of my bottom lash line. And then lastly, I'm going to go in with the shade Double-Sided for my inner corner. So yeah, I just decided, screw it, I'm gonna do it. It was after uni when basically like most of my friends moved away, but I stayed in the same city. I had just broken up with my ex, and I was like, I'm gonna do this for me. I'm gonna start doing YouTube. to pass the time, to do it for me, something that I always wanted to do. So I just got started with it, and that's kind of how I got started. But it's something that, again, I wanted to do for a long time. But that was in January 2018, and ever since I've been doing YouTube like all the time, like basically every other day, and I really enjoy it. Secondly is, who influenced you on your love for makeup? It is probably YouTubers, like old school YouTubers. I can't think of any right now specifically, but like I used to watch so much makeup YouTube kind of back in the day, back in like 2012. Even before that, I think definitely before that, like 2009, I think I started watching it. Maybe long time back then. It was just like Juicy Star 07, is that what she called, Blair and Elle Fowler. I think I used to watch those. Those were like the old school ones, but yeah, I used a lot of different ones. I just watched them. There's no one really in my personal life that inspired me. I think I just loved watching YouTube, and that's how I got into makeup. Next question is, would you like in the future just to make some other types of makeup videos, or do you want to stick with project pans? Outside YouTube, what are your activities? How do you spend your free time? So I'm going to move on to my brow while I answer the next question. So basically, I try to dabble a little bit here and there in other type of videos too. I really love single eyeshadow content and indie eyeshadow content. Just like eyeshadow content in general I really like, but mainly like those two avenues. And again, I do dabble in that kind of type of videos every now and then. I would love to do more of them. Because it's something that I personally love watching. I think continue doing project pan stuff is something I'm going to do. And then if I could use doubling like indie eyeshadow content, indie makeup content in general, and single eyeshadow content, that's like my main, I think, ideas for my channel and what I'm going to continue doing. As always, if there's anything else you want to see from me, leave it down below. I'm always looking for suggestions, both for like specific video ideas or like specific type of content. Next question from the same person was, outside YouTube, what are your activities? How do you spend your free time? Like YouTube and makeup is like my biggest hobby, and I really do love just everything to do with that. But other than that, I love food. I love going out to eat. I love cooking. I read. What else do I like doing? Obviously, like spending time outdoors with my dog. Going on walks. I don't really hike, but I love going on walks. I love just going to central London, just exploring as well. Just like getting to know different areas of the city. I think those are my main things. Just like obviously like watch films, watch series. We started watching How I Met Your Mother recently. That's really fun. We spend a lot of time watching that now. My boyfriend always thought he didn't like that show, but I watched it back in the day and I really liked them. We already finished like all of the big comedy shows like The Office, Parks and Rec, Modern Family. We finished Modern Family like most recently, and we loved that. And that's kind of why we need to find a new show. And that's why we got into How I Met Your Mother. But we love watching TV and series, like not just comedy series, but watch other things too. Watch films, go to the cinema. We're really big like film fans. And then just food. I would say probably food is like my other biggest hobby apart from YouTube. So I would probably say those things. That's kind of like my main interests outside of this. So I'm almost done with makeup. I just need to fill in my brows, do my mascara and lips. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go off the camera and finish that things off because I don't like doing it on camera anyway. I'm going to go do my lashes, brows and lips, and then I will go back and answer the very last couple questions. And there you have the look with mascara and brows and lips on. Really like how it turned out. But before I wrap up the video, I'm just going to go into answer the last couple of questions. Okay, so next question was, how much time a day do you spend filming makeup videos? How much time do you usually spend on editing one video? So during the weeks, I film before work most days when I'm working from home. So that's Monday and Friday. And that can take between like 20 to 45 minutes probably. So that's kind of how long it takes me to film most videos. This video is taking me way longer though. Some videos take me probably like an hour and a half. And like some more labor intense videos like swatch parties, things like that can take hours and hours and hours, so it depends. But on average, probably like 30 minutes to film. If I film more than one video in a day, it takes longer, obviously. On the weekend, I can spend like probably like, I don't know, an hour and a half for filming usually. So that's kind of how much I spend for the filming part. For editing, again, I don't edit every day. Sometimes I bulk edit like several days like videos in a day. Sometimes I just edit like one per day. But each video to edit can take, like some quick videos, like some straightforward videos, can take just over how long the video footage is. So maybe again, on average, like half an hour to an hour for most videos. But then again, longer labor-intense videos, like for this one right now, I'm looking at my like audio footage, and I have about 45 minutes of audio footage right now. So I'm probably gonna get at least an hour of footage for this video, which means that this video is gonna take probably at least an hour and a half to edit, if not longer. Well, not probably an hour and a half, I would say. And then, you know, on top of that, like I have other things, like again, more labor intense things like swatch parties, or normal party pans where I add in like B-roll footage, stuff like that. Also takes a bit longer. So it depends. Honestly, some videos can take like 3 hours to edit, one video, even sometimes longer, again, depending on the footage I have. So it really does depend, but on average, I would say probably like up to an hour for like an everyday kind of video. And that's probably how long I spend to edit them. Next question is, do you still have contact with Alexi? Do you know how she's doing? No, I don't really speak to her much anymore. There was a time when we still spoke. We messaged a couple times. We did talk a little bit, a couple times here and there. I still have her phone number actually, but no, we don't really speak anymore. I don't know how she's doing. She does have a non-makeup Instagram. I'm gonna pull it up and see if I can find it. So just for those people who are wondering how she's doing, she does have like other Instagram account now for her farm. She does have a farm where she lives with her horses and everything, and her partner. It's called Stendala Gård, like Gård. So if you're not Swedish, it's probably gonna make no sense to you, but it's Stendala Gård. That's the name of the account. I'm gonna put it on the screen here so you can see. So if you want to follow her there, you can go ahead and see that. So if you want to see how she's doing, mainly she's just on her farm with her horses now. I think she's living her best life with her horses. So all the best to her. I really do miss her on this platform, to be honest. I miss seeing her face. I miss talking to her. But I know she's doing really well. I know she's really happy with her farm and that part of her life. So yeah, if you want to check her out there, you can. But in general, I think she's doing really good on her farm. So that's Alexi. Next question is, we have 5 more questions to go. Next up, we have what do you do for work? Just curious. So I work in sales. I work the Swedish and Norwegian market, but I also recently got promoted into group leader, so manager, and I'm managing 2 girls in the German team. So I'm very much cross teaming. I have a lot of different teams that I'm currently covering, but I work in sales. It's B2B sales. I only work with companies mainly, and it's basically like working on like promotional goods. That's kind of what I do. I have an account, so I have really good contact with like my customers. I manage like the whole cycle. So I have my account, those customers are mine alone. And on top of that, obviously, again, I am a manager. So I manage my team. I kind of, you know, support them, trying to help them become better salespeople. They're quite new, both of them. There's 2 girls, so one of them started in October, one started in November, and I'm kind of supporting them throughout their first 6 months of probation, and obviously continue managing them afterwards as well. So that's kind of what I'm doing for work. So it's a mix between sales and management at the moment, and I'm really enjoying it, and that's what I do. The next question is, how do you feel about overconsumption in the beauty industry? Do you want more people to sit in planning to be aware of how long it takes to use up beauty products? I think this is such a in-depth question, and I feel like I could speak about this for a long time, but I'm aware that the video is already really long, and I don't want to spend too long on each question. But I can do a whole get ready with me talking about this if you want. Let me know down below if you want me to talk about it. But in general, I feel like the beauty industry has hyped up like makeup in the way like you want everything that's new, and I feel like it has been like this for years and years and years. And I feel like more people are aware now that maybe you don't need to pick up anything. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's like the people in the planning community that are getting to that point. But I definitely feel like there is an overconsumption. I definitely feel like it's a collector's mentality where you want everything that's brand new, you want to own everything, you see other people use something and you want that exact thing, although you probably have all those shades already in your collection if you have a decent size collection like I do, for example. So I do think it's something that people should definitely consider and look at, because there is an issue with it. And I mean, I know a lot of people that I follow, like basically everyone on this platform that does beauty videos, they never finish makeup off. Like when they want to downsize to the collection, they declutter, they get rid of things. And yes, you can donate it. Yes, you know, you can pass it on to someone. But a lot of times, like if it's old, a lot of makeup won't go through the use. So there is a lot of waste as well in this kind of whole community, the whole like industry with makeup. There is a lot of waste, which is a shame. And I do feel like if more people did product planning, I do feel like people would be more aware of that, and like that's really helped me change my mindset. It's not the only thing though, and I did do product planning for a long time and still overconsumed, but I am really working on trying to downsize my overconsumption and kind of help out where I can. So I do feel like if people did product planning more, it would probably help out a little bit. So I guess, yeah, I do wish more people did it. Also, I think it's really fun, and you know, I would love to watch more content on product planning as well. So I do wish more people did it, and I do think it's an issue with overconsumption. But again, if you want more of my comments on that, let me know down below, and I can do a whole get ready with me about that. Next up we have, do you have a favorite movie or TV show? It can be from your childhood or recent. I always said I never really have a favorite film. Films are really hard for me. I don't really like have any like of series. I probably have more. Right now, like I said, I am really into like comedy series. I love Modern Family, The Office, Parks and Rec. All of those are really great. Like How I Met Your Mother is also amazing. So I really like comedy shows like that. But I also love shows like Game of Thrones is obviously a masterpiece. I really love that show. What else do I love? I love Outlander. Like I'm thinking of my own like girly shows. I used to love Vampire Diaries when I grew up. Pretty Little Liars. Like girly shows like that I really love too, but I wouldn't say it's like an all-time favorite, but I do like have those as kind of like guilty pleasure shows. What else? Dexter. I love Dexter. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I love Dexter. What else do I watch? Like shows. Let me pull up I have an app for my shows. Grey's Anatomy is another like guilty pleasure one. It's not like a favorite, but I do like that one. House. I watched that. I also watch like anything Marvel. I really love Marvel, both films and series. I watched all of them in order, like in like chronological order. Yeah, I really love them. I actually rewatched everything twice. Yeah, I mean some of those are like shows, but again, I don't really have like a favorite. Like I feel like it's hard to say a favorite because like it changes all the time for me, but those are some of the ones that I really enjoy watching at the moment. Next question is there a brand you own everything of what they release, or would if money/space wasn't an issue? And how long does it take you to make a decision when buying something? So I do basically own everything from Cleona. Cleona is like one of my favorite brands. I own all of their stained glass collection. Basically almost all of their nail polishes. The only thing I don't really own for them is their circle shadows. I also own the what's it called, the Deep Sea Treasures palette. I don't have the Dragon Fruit palette, but I have some of the singles from there. But I own basically everything from Cleona. So that is like one brand. Something that I would own everything of if I could is probably gonna. I was thinking about this because my camera needed to like charge for a bit. I was thinking about it, and I think the brand that I would, if I could have everything from, it would probably be like Charlotte Tilbury, because I love their lip products. One of my favorite foundations, powders, like base products I really love as well. So that's probably another brand that I would have everything from if I could, or like a lot of things from if I could. I guess also like Pat McGrath, because again, love eyeshadows from there. I love her lip products. I have tried a blush from her, but I haven't tried too much base products from her. But I do really love Pat McGrath as well, so that's another brand that I would probably mention. Obviously, like maybe all Natasha Denona palettes too. Again, I haven't tried so much else from Natasha Denona, but like that's another brand. So probably Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath, and Charlotte Tilbury is brands that I would love to own everything from or more things from if I could and if money was like an obstacle. And then how long does it take you to make a purchasing decision? Honestly, sometimes it can take years. It depends on what kind of product it is and how much I wanted. I rarely impulse buy. Even if I find something that I am interested in, I go and I deep dive into like reviews, research before I make a decision. Sometimes, yes, I can buy something relatively fast, but honestly, it usually takes me a couple of weeks or months to make a decision when purchasing something. And again, more often than not, it takes me like longer than that, and it sits on my wish list for a long time. Okay, we have come to the last kind of question, but there's a lot of questions within the same question, so let's go through them. The first one in the question, actually, let me just read out the whole thing. It says, what are your favorite brushes? What is your favorite thing about London and Sweden? And is there a place from both you recommend? If you could create a palette, what would the color story be? How is Lexi? And how is the wedding planning going? So first off, how's the wedding planning going? Already mentioned that. I'm not going to go through that again. Then let's go from the top bottom. What are your favorite brushes? So I have a big mix of brushes. Honestly, I don't really have like favorites. I would say that if anything, I really love my Refer brushes. Those are really good quality, super nice to work with. I think they're like favorites for a reason. I also really like the Cleona brushes, but they're not available anymore. They discontinued them, so it's a bit of unfortunate. I'm staring at one of the brushes now from Cleona, like this one here. This one is like my favorite like brush for shimmers if you just want to have like a wash of shimmer, like the sparkly kind of glittery shimmers. So I really like those brushes too, but again, I don't think they're available anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have like a favorites, but if I had to pick anything, it probably would be the Refer brushes. What is your favorite thing about London and Sweden? So London, I really love just how multicultural it is, how there's always things going on. You can do literally anything you want. If you feel like one day I want to go and do blank, you're most likely going to be able to do it in London or nearby. Obviously like farm stuff, you know, countryside things that might not be applied, but you can still drive from London quite quickly to the countryside and get that kind of fix as well. For example, like on my boyfriend's birthday recently, we went for like a virtual cricket experience, which was really fun. And that's something that, you know, I would never have thought even existed, but it does here. And that's what I mean. Like just anything you can do here. And again, I just love like how many different restaurants there is, how many different cultures are here, how many different type of people live here. And just like the like buzz of the city, I guess. That's kind of my favorite thing with London. And favorite thing with Sweden is probably nature. I love the nature there, which is probably the complete opposite, and that's why I love having like a home in Sweden and here. The nature back home is beautiful. I love the kind of system when it comes to healthcare, like different like benefits, all that kind of stuff. Like just how well taken care of the people living there are, and obviously growing up there was really nice. Like school system, everything like that. That's probably one of my favorite things about Sweden, on top of obviously like nature and everything like that. Is there a place from both you would recommend? Yeah, probably in Sweden. I would definitely say like Stockholm in summer is beautiful. There's so much like water there. It's a beautiful city in summer. Also like again, just going to see the nature. Like up north of Sweden is beautiful when it comes to nature. It's very like rural as well. There's not many houses. There's just a lot of beautiful nature. So that's another thing. But if you want to like see a city, go to Stockholm mainly in summer. And if you want to just explore Sweden, I would say try to go and see some nature. And then we're in London. I love a lot of areas here. Honestly, it depends on what you're up for. But specific areas that I really love like Notting Hill, Carnaby Street. I really love that for like shopping, unique shopping, and like food places. Loads of markets that I would recommend, like Borough Market, Spitalfields Market, like that kind of stuff. I really recommend that as well. If you want to see like a view, go to Sky Garden. Really nice. It's free. You don't have to pay for London Eye. I feel like it's overrated. And yeah, just going into Central, exploring different areas. I really love just doing that and walking around and just taking the tube to a new area they haven't been in Central and just walking around. I love doing that. But yeah, if you want any more recommendations on specific things to do, you can always message me on Instagram and I'm happy to give you some advice. Then the next question was, if you could create a palette, what would the color story be like? Honestly, probably like rosy, like peachy, kind of warm rosy neutrals, like with interesting pop of neutral shimmers. That's probably what I would do. Like it's so hard to decide, but I think probably like peachy, rosy kind of mattes and like a twist on a neutral palette. I think that's what I would do. Again, I would probably include some more sparkly, kind of interesting neutrals. And then with that, I think that's what I would do for if I could create a color story. Maybe I would go into like more colorful shades too, but I haven't thought about that. And if I just thought about like right now in this instant what I would create, that's probably what I would go for. It would kind of be like my perfect everyday palette. Then the last question we have to answer is, how is Lexi? I showed her video of her earlier. I've actually been filming so long now that she's no longer on the sofa. Her dad came home, Mike came home, so she's now in the bedroom with him playing, and she's really good. She just turned 2 earlier. It's been 3 weeks now. She turned 2, and yeah, she's happy. She's thriving. She is the best girl. We love her to bits. We give her all the attention all the time. She is literally our world, and yeah, we couldn't be happier. So that is the last question, and that is also going to be it for this Get Ready With Me. I know this has been a long one. I just ended up rambling towards the end, but I wanted to get through every question. I didn't want to leave any questions for a later point. So that's going to be it. But I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye, guys.